In the spring of 1974, in a dry, dusty field in China, a few farmers were digging a well, hoping to find water. But instead of water, their shovels struck something hard. Pieces of clay. And then, a face. A life-sized face, made of clay, staring back at them from the earth. They had no idea what they had found. They kept digging. And digging. And what they uncovered would astonish the entire world. Beneath that ordinary field lay an army. Thousands upon thousands of clay soldiers, buried in silence for over 2,000 years. Who made them? And why would anyone build an entire army, only to bury it underground? To find out, we must travel far, far back in time. Long ago, more than 2,200 years ago, the land we now call China was not one country at all. It was split into 7 separate kingdoms, and they were almost always at war. For hundreds of years, these kingdoms fought over land, and rivers, and power. Ordinary families just longed for peace. Each kingdom flew its own banners, spoke in its own ways, and even used different coins in different writing. It was a divided, dangerous world. But in one tough Western kingdom, called Qin, a boy was about to change everything. His name was Ying Zheng. And when he was just 13 years old, his father died, and he became the king of Qin. Imagine that. A boy, barely a teenager, sitting on a throne, ruling an entire kingdom. At first, older, powerful men made the decisions for him. But Ying Zheng was watching, and learning, and waiting. He was clever, and patient, and fiercely determined. And he had a dream far bigger than anyone guessed. He didn't just want to rule Qin. He wanted to end the endless wars, by bringing all 7 kingdoms together as one. When Ying Zheng grew up and took full power for himself, he began his great and daring plan. Qin already had the strongest, best-trained army of all the kingdoms. Now the young ruler put it to work. One by one, the other kingdoms fell. First one, then another, then another. Some he defeated in battle. Others he outsmarted with clever plans and patient strategy. Kingdom after kingdom, year after year, the map of the whole land was changing. Then came the final, mighty kingdom of Chu, and the last great struggle for the whole of China. And at last, in the year 221, before the Common Era, the very last kingdom surrendered. For the first time in all of history, the warring lands were united. China was one. Ying Zheng had done what no one had ever done. And he decided that the title of king was no longer grand enough. He gave himself a brand new title, Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. He believed his new empire would last forever. He even imagined his family ruling for 10,000 generations. Now the real challenge began. How do you turn 7 different lands, with 7 different ways, into one united country? The first emperor's answer was bold: make everything the same. Remember how each kingdom had its own writing? He ordered everyone to use one single system of writing. That one decision was like magic. Now a person in the Far East could read a letter from someone in the Far West. He created one kind of money for everyone, round bronze coins with a square hole in the middle, so people everywhere could trade. He set one system of weights and measures, so a basket of grain meant the same thing in every market. He even made the axles of carts a standard width, so the wheels carved matching ruts in every road. Roads and canals reached out like a giant web, tying the huge empire together for the very first time. But the empire had enemies beyond its borders, fierce riders who swept down from the cold northern grasslands. To protect his people, the emperor ordered a wall longer than any the world had ever seen. Older walls, built long ago by the separate kingdoms, were joined together and stretched across mountains and deserts. Hundreds of thousands of workers labored for years in the cold and the wind. It was exhausting, and many suffered building it. This was the ancestor of the famous Great Wall of China, a great stone dragon stretching across the north. Now, the first emperor did great and lasting things. But this is an honest story, and the truth is more complicated. To keep total control, he ruled with very strict and very harsh laws. He demanded that everyone obey, and he was severe with anyone who dared to disagree with him. He distrusted old books and old ideas that questioned his rule, and he had many writings gathered up and burned. Scholars who spoke against him were treated harshly. Under his rule, people lived with fear as well as order. So the first emperor was both a great builder and a hard, frightening ruler. History remembers him as both. There was one thing all his power could never buy. The emperor was growing older, and the idea of dying terrified him. So he became obsessed with a single dream: to find a way to live forever. He sent explorers across the seas to search for a magical elixir, a secret potion of eternal life. Wise men promised him secret cures. Some, it is said, were nothing but clever tricks. But no potion can stop time. No matter how mighty he was, the emperor could not escape it. And so, even as he searched for endless life, the emperor was secretly preparing for his death. He ordered the building of a tomb so vast it was like an entire underground world. And to guard him forever, he commanded an army to be made, not of soldiers, but of clay. Thousands of life-sized warriors were sculpted from earth, each one with its very own face. Foot soldiers, archers, generals, and horses pulling chariots, all standing in silent ranks. No two faces were exactly alike. Every single warrior was given its own expression, as if it were truly alive. They were painted in bright colors, armed and ready, and then sealed away in the dark to protect their emperor. In the year 210, before the Common Era, while traveling across his empire, the first emperor died. He had dreamed his dynasty would last 10,000 generations. Instead, it began to crumble almost at once. His advisors hid his death and schemed for power. A weaker son was placed on the throne. The people, worn out by harsh laws and endless labor, had finally had enough, and rebellions rose up across the land. Just a few short years after the first emperor's death, the mighty Qin Dynasty collapsed and fell. It had lasted only about 15 years. One of the shortest dynasties, and yet one of the most important. Because here is the astonishing part. The Qin Dynasty was brief, but what it began never truly ended. The next dynasty, called the Han, kept the united country the first emperor had forged. And the unity he created lasted, in one form or another, for more than 2,000 years, all the way to today. That single system of writing helped hold a vast land together for 20 centuries. Even the name China is believed by many to come from that very first dynasty, from the word Qin. The Great Wall kept growing for centuries, and today it winds for thousands of miles, one of the wonders of the world. And the clay army? It waited. Silent and forgotten, in the dark, for more than 2,000 years. Until that spring day in 1974, when a few farmers digging a well struck a face of clay. Archaeologists came, and carefully, gently, they uncovered the first emperor's hidden army. Today you can visit them in the city of Xi'an, standing in their ranks, just as they were left. Thousands of warriors, each with a different face, gazing out across the ages. People come from all over the world to see them. They are a window into an ancient empire, and a reminder of the emperor who united a land and changed it forever. So the next time you see a map of China, or a photo of the Great Wall, remember the determined boy who became the first emperor. Remember that he built wonders and ruled harshly, that he chased forever and ran out of time, and that what he started still shapes the world. History is full of stories like this, surprising, and true, and waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, stay with us, there are many more amazing true stories to come. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and keep asking the best question of all: what really happened?